Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So gonna be doing something a little bit different today. Have my wife's 93 Wrangler with a 2.5, 4 angry little squirrels under the hood. Well, 240,000 miles, it's more 4 mildly irritated hamsters with emphysema. But she still runs good. The challenge we're running into is, over the years, it has been degrading in mileage significantly. We're down to about 10 miles to the gallon now, whether I'm towing my trailer or not, between 9 and 11. So we're gonna start the quest of regaining our mileage. Yeah. This is to kind of document the series of the steps I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna do the normal processes. I have the exhaust manifold has a hole that you could probably throw a cat through, and bad exhaust, I gave a exhaust leak, actually lost the tailpipe, and it burned the inner fender well, melted it all down on top of the tire. That's kind of fun and entertaining. So anyway, we're gonna go through that process of getting this thing back up. We're gonna start with changing the manifold. I'm probably gonna change the intake gasket because I'm sure I have an intake leak and or vacuum leak somewhere. But we're gonna start on the inside of the engine, and this is gonna be step number 1. Stainless header. I know it's shiny and looks pretty, but believe it or not, this is about the third of a cost of the factory manifold that is just gonna crack again and more difficult to weld than stainless. Stainless is a lot easier to weld. So even if it cracks in the future, I can fix it. This thing, I ain't even gonna bother. So let's get started. So here's what we're dealing with. Here's the manifold. And I was curious because I didn't see any real obvious signs of hole. So I went ahead and cut the shield off. Ta-da. Now, I could weld this. Cast is a little bit challenging. You just gotta preheat it, use nickel rod and all that good heavy crap, but it's cracking everywhere. You can actually, I don't know if the camera will catch that, but you can see the crazing through the surface. This thing's getting ready to fall the F apart. So we're just gonna delete it. And the intake exhaust gasket is 1 on this. So unfortunately, the one they sent me is an individual. But I gotta get a new gasket. And I was pretty pleased because it doesn't appear that there was any leaks, intake or exhaust side, so I should be good to go there. Clean it up, new gasket, send it. And so I gotta get a gasket. I'm gonna get a valve cover gasket. I'm obviously leaking a bunch. Get a few other things. And I'm probably, when I take this to work, I'm gonna go ahead and port match just to improve my flow a little bit. Maybe not, I don't know. Haven't decided yet. We'll see. So you can see I'm gonna do the valve cover because we have quite a bit of leakage. It's kind of grody. Overall, everything's pretty good. Needed to replace some vacuum lines and miscellaneous stuff. Ground is just hanging off in the... So I don't have my downpipe yet, that one. That's coming in, and I'm probably gonna get a cat because this one's getting a little bit rattly. And the honeycomb is in good shape. You can't see it. Honeycomb's in good shape, but it's starting to show signs that it's gonna fall apart. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace it too. Plus with my new downpipe, I am gonna be adding some additional bungs. Don't want to give that away, but you'll see. Muffler's kind of shot, and there's my tailpipe, or half of it. Whoops. It's self-clearing though. So, it'll seem like a quarter of a second to you, but see you tomorrow. Okay, we're back. Told you it'd be really quick. So, got a bit more done. Let me show you. So So I went ahead and port matched the intake. I didn't get too crazy. I just wanted to smooth out the transition and utilize that full opening. You can see the stock one, oopsie. You can see the stock one is pretty darn close to exact size. I went ahead and port matched the head for the exhaust too. There was almost a 1/4 inch there, a lot that wasn't available. So did that, port matched the intake, pretty darn close, and we're gonna assemble. So here we go. Couple small things to note. I had to cut the flange because, you know, I don't know what I was expecting out of an eBay header, but, you know, for the price I paid for this, it's obviously heat warped, and it had a pretty significant warp this way. So I had to cut the flange on both sides. And the previous owner used too long of bolts and got creative on their spacing. So I had to go with a little bit shorter bolts too. Luckily I brought the correct ones, and let's continue. I'll tell you what, even just that looks so much better than this clunky old piece of thing. Ew. Moment of truth. Alright, so the only thing left is to button up the top end, air cleaner, stuff like that, and the rest of the exhaust. I'm not going to have y'all hang out for that. It's kind of mundane. But, yeah, stand by for mileage updates. Right, so got a few miles on her now, and initial reaction is way better. Better throttle response, better sub 2000 torque. I can cruise at a lot lower RPM now. Basically everything you'd expect from fixing the exhaust and going to a header. She does have a little bit of a stumble just off idle now. Had it before, I didn't know how much of that was from the exhaust leak. So we're gonna go ahead and do a tune-up and then check the numbers from there too. So here we go. Obviously running very rich, very safe, and I do have some electrode erosion. So, yeah.
camera can catch this, but check out that carbon buildup. It's definitely due for replacement. Yeah. Starting to see a pattern here. Really rich burn. A little bit of a trouble getting that out too. Yeah. Maybe that'll change it.
It's pretty safe to say that the fuel filter pretty much kicked my tail. Man, what a bad position to put that in. Fuel line was rotted out. I might have been sucking a little bit of air there. Fuel filter was pretty grody. Looked like it was original. That was so nasty. O2 sensor was sooted up. Spark plug sooted up. Plug wires, pretty bad. One pulled apart. Cap and rotor carboned up pretty bad. Overall, and the plugs were champion. Yay. Anyway, overall, it was in dire need of it. So even if it doesn't help, it's gonna help. So I'm gonna go take her out for a drive and get some real numbers. I have before everything, mileage numbers, exhaust numbers, and then now the tune-up numbers. And I'll show you those probably tomorrow or the next day. All right, so drivability is amazing. Smooth, clean, drives like she used to. Mileage numbers are a little depressing. I think there's several things that are in play. There's a few more things I want to tweak, like I might still be running a little bit cold, and I don't think I'm dropping in a closed loop. I should be, but I'm gonna tinker with that a little bit more. Right now, so here's the numbers that I have. This is from 3.32, 99 miles, 9.57 miles to the gallon. This one's kind of funny. After doing the header and exhaust, fixing all my exhaust leaks and my intake leaks, it went down to 897. Yeah. But then after the tune-up, smoothed out really nice, and we're up to 11. I think it can do better. I'm gonna run this tank out and I'm gonna run some ethanol free and see if we can get those numbers up even better. The amount of ethanol they're putting into fuel right now is insane. So we're gonna run some ethanol free and see if we can get those numbers a little higher. But that's gonna conclude this video now. Now we're gonna move on to stage 2 and stage 3, or phase 2 and phase 3. And that's when it's gonna get really fun. So definitely stay tuned for that. Hit the little subscribe and little bell thing. You're gonna wanna see these next ones. They're gonna be fun. See you for now. Oh, and a little hint as to what's coming. If you know, you know.